And in time, General Smith informed the family he's wounded, that western area, 520 feet, 175 yards from home. And the two sisters, an old father and a black boy, 10 years old, by the name of Tom, held the lantern, moved out there, and they met two Alabama soldiers carrying Captain Carter on an overcoat. The sisters, they started to wail and scream, seeing your brother for the first time in 3.5 years. Starting off funny with me, but it's not funny about him. I realized that I was becoming an old man when I had to start shaving my ears. Because if I didn't shave my ears, I'd look like my dog. And hideous. And about 6 months ago, I nicked it. And it bled like a stuck hog. And I was going, oh my gosh. And I had to put a roll of toilet tissue on my ear, like a snowball. And then I thought, Todd's wounded here. He was a bloody mess, much less the other wounds. They don't know where they are. He's a bloody mess. And now the sisters are seeing their brother like that. They started wailing and screaming. And they brought him into the parlor, operated on him, extracted the bullet from the head. My sources, they took him to another room. They now say they left him in the parlor. But he regained consciousness. He looked up at the McEwen ladies and he said, I know you, but I cannot speak to you now. And on December 2nd, Captain Todd Carter's last words in the home of his birth was home, home, home. Now remember, sir, I'm going home today. Follow me, boys, I'm almost home. The last words were home, home, home. He was born on March 24th, 1840, died December 2nd, 1864, and the home of his birth. Is it luck or is it fate? All that war, all that disease, prison camp, blah, 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 and to come back down. He was lucky, though. He's lucky in one way that he could die with his family by him. He was very, very, very lucky. He was also a war correspondent during the war under the pseudonym, pen name, or ghost name of Mint Julep. Mint Julep. He's a very humorous writer, too. Very, very humorous writer. Very funny writer. And Mint Julep. So, I'd like to take people here at the end of the day. We're going to go to the Confederate Cemetery at the end of the day tomorrow, but I think it may be best it worked out like this today. From here, just about face for you.
Hey, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Has any thought been taken ahead to put that in the museum or the Carter House? I mean,
well, the family owns it, and we wanted to raise money for a bigger stone, but they were against it for some reason, and but they placed this up behind it. But no.
Since it's well marked, it'd be nice to have it in a museum before the original stone loses its...
Before it's gone. I think that'd be a good idea, but the family have to agree to that. Good idea. Maybe I'll mention it to somebody.
Could they work on the stone where it is to kind of restore it a little bit?
It's limestone.
Well, you could chisel it out, but that's destroying
Let's walk right over here, folks, about this war through your whole lives. Do you ever remember any battle where 3 Confederate doctors were killed or mortally wounded and 3 Confederate chaplains killed or mortally wounded? I don't. I never heard anything like that. I don't believe there is another one that I'll stand to be corrected. But this is Dr. Fielding Sloan, 50th Alabama. He was with Johnson's division. That is, Manigault's Brigade. All the litter bearers been shot down. He was out there on the field. This was a nighttime assault. I'll just explain that tomorrow. And he was wounded in this area, this area, and carried off the field to the McEwen home. See the McEwen stone here. And he suffered 2 operations, 2 amputations. First of all, they amputated about here, and then they had amputated here. Are there any of you doctors here? Any doctors here? I always try to get free medical advice. Oh, hell, got a shoulder right here. My father was a hospital administrator, I learned, yeah. But they took him to the McEwen house, and there was an officer next door whining about a flesh wound, as he called it, Dr. Sloan, and he said, perfect bedside manner. He sent a message to this officer next door that if he didn't keep quiet, he's going to take the stump off his arm and knock his eyes out. They came to visit, and they laughed about it and stuff. And but the McEwen family fell in love with him, and because he was there with them from November 30th, December 1st, until June 19th. He was covered with bed sores at the end from his ankle all the way up to his neck. And on June 19th, look how long the war's been over with. He passed away, went on across the river. And so I think it's very poignant to show that, because no one's immune in this battle. We're going to go through some nasty stuff tomorrow. And whether you're a doctor, you're a chaplain, you're a private, you're a whatever, and a major general, it's mano mano. Everybody for himself now. That's what one federal soldier called the Battle of Franklin. This was a soldier's fight. You were the commanding general on the 2 square feet of ground you stood on. And by the time we get into this mess, that horror, there ain't no general doing nothing, hardly. It's everybody for himself. It's mano mano. And Dr. Richardson was with Granbury's brigade. He was killed by General Granbury. And Dr. F.E.P., I can't get his name, from Lowry's brigade was killed as well. Unbelievable. Tell me if you've ever heard, or if you find something like this in the future. Please tell me. Please tell me. So let's walk this way over to that big old huge thing.
She was a model wife. What a nice epitaph.
Nice.
What does that mean?
I mean, she died first.
They were excavating across from the Chick-fil-A, and now these bones start, and then the skull's coming up. And the man could have gotten a lot of trouble for telling this. A lot of people would forget it, seal it, cover it up, and be done with it. But he stopped it, and because he could have been fired. He thought he might be fired, and called whoever, and then came out there. There's the bullet that killed the man, apparently, and he had part of his boots on. I've been told that. Maybe that's wrong, but he's about 6 foot tall, and he'd been forgotten. Some people say it was on December 17th, the retreat for Nashville, but the Federals held the field. They're not going to bury their body just on the field in the town. I think it's probably November 30th. That advanced line we'll talk about tomorrow. I think he could have been wounded there. Of course, the chances are better as Confederate because there were casualties too. So you don't know. And historically, does it matter? Yeah, historically wise. Human-wise, it don't matter what side you're on. In that realm, there's very few things that offend me. Now, I'm too old to be offended now, but there's a few. Don't talk about my mama. But in the newspaper the next day, buttons and bones. Buttons and bones. The 6 buttons are on me. Well, that offended the hell out of me. You know, this man's a whole lot more than buttons and bones. You know, you can distance yourself where it's not any big deal. That's not only a brave soldier, presumably, but be it blue or gray, he did everything and he buried on the field. I think that's a hospital area back there, and he died on November 30th. Let's say 17th, whatever. But a very great man that was buried. His family never knew what happened to him. Don't know where he was. Gone forever until May of 2009, from 1864. And what do you call it? Not archaeology. Forensics. That's what I'm trying to. From the pathologist. Performed and figured out how tall he was, about 6 foot tall. Big man for him. And the bullet was with him, the buttons were with him, and other things. Wasn't in a coffin either, buried on the field. And then as I already noted, that sign notes the exact date, October 8th, I think, of 2009. There's the whole city. This cemetery was full of people all the way to the wall. All the way to the wall, all the way around, the whole thing. And Federal Color Guard, Confederate Color Guard, and Fort Campbell Color Guard was here. Had a horse-drawn carriage with a coffin. You can't see it, but St. Paul's, the United State over there, is very, very emotional. Very emotional. And there's an old Greek quote from so long ago that ties into this man and to all those brave Americans. Is that in times of peace, sons bury fathers, and in times of war, fathers bury sons. But in this case, his father didn't bury him. So be it from Indiana, be it from Illinois, be it from Ohio, be it from Tennessee or Mississippi or Georgia or whatever. This is a very brave American, and they're all Americans, whatever side they're on. And it's funny that the soldiers, they made up a lot quicker than the people stayed home or the descendants made it up. You know, they knew each other so well. They fought each other so long. And so they sort of made, for the most part, a lot quicker than the people stayed home to the descendants down the road. And so we've embraced him. This is from the state capitol. When they replaced them, they brought these here from the state capitol. Now, 20 years ago, I made the comment that there's still soldiers out there, you know, and I got mocked. I was mocked by some people in this town. They mocked me for even studying the battle, but they mocked me. I know who it was. I didn't say nothing. I keep quiet, and I don't think they mocked me now. And that's not the only one out there. I know that to be a fact. At Nashville, I know where the graves are of Confederate soldiers. We keep it quiet till these ghouls will dig them up. There's amputation pits. I'll show you generally where one is tomorrow. Where the leg of William Campbell, 6 Arkansas is in that pit. John Ruth, both arms in that pit. It's a cemetery. No matter if those houses are on top of the battlefield, it's a cemetery as well. And
what ground did you say he was found? His body was found in?
Where we were eating, you know, when we had lunch, just this way or going north, just about a quarter mile. It was at Chick-fil-A. It was diagonal Chick-fil-A. That's where they found it.
You mean they were digging for the Chick-fil-A?
Well, that and sewer and whatever stuff and gradient, and there's a little tiny road goes in from the Columbia Pike, and that's when they uncovered it.
They only found one body.
I only found one body there that they know of. Now, I know of other construction places. It's word of mouth, but they trust me enough that other construction going on here in other areas, they'll uncover bodies and they just cover. The hell with it. And we'll lose money. I'll stop in this. We're going to lose money. And that's if you tell anything, you're fired. You say a word, you're fired. And I trust them enough. I know that's a fact. And most do that. They may have a lot of courage to do that. They have a film now called The Unknown Soldier. And Lee Majors is narrating it. Yeah, up here on a big deal. Just a storyteller. And but being that we're here, we're going to hit the ground running hard tomorrow. And very emotional tomorrow. But from the book Company Aytch, Sam Watkins, I want to recite Franklin. How many of you read the book again? Well, those that haven't, you should read it. You'll never regret it. It's Margaret Mitchell, who that's fiction, of course, said a better book than ever was. And it goes like this. Franklin, the death angel, gathers his last harvest. Kind listeners, here's where my courage and ability fail me. I shrink from butchery. Would to God in heaven I had never witnessed such a scene. I cannot describe it. Beggars description. I would not attempt to describe it. I could not. The death angel was there to gather his last harvest of death. It's a grand coronation of death. With it I could turn the page, but I feel though I could do so, the page would still be there, teeming with its scenes of horror and blood. I can only tell you what I saw. Our regiment was fortified in the gap of a range of hills in plain view of the city of Franklin. Our artillery had not come up yet, and our cavalry was across the Harpeth River, and our army is but in poor condition of making assault. While resting upon this hillside, I saw a courier dash up to our commanding General B.F. Cheatham, and the word "Attention" was given. I then knew that we would soon be in battle. Forward march! We passed over the hill through a little skirt of woods. The enemy was fortified in the suburbs of the town. We could see the enemy battle flags waving in the breeze. Right here in these woods, a detail of skirmishers were called for. We deployed as skirmishers, firing as we advanced upon the left of the turnpike road. If I had not been a skirmisher that day, I would not be here today to tell you this in the year of our Lord 2014. And on that dark and dismal November day, as the battle lines were formed and those devoted heroes were ordered forward to strike for their altars and their fires for the green graves of their sires, for God and their native land. As they marched on down through the open fields to the ramparts of blood and death, the federal batteries began to open and mow down. And gathering to that garner of death as good, brave, and pure spirits the world has ever saw. The twilight of the evening had begun to gather as the